What's going on, everyone? You're watching RD Motoring, and this is a POV first drive of the 2021 Chevy Tahoe LT. Before we get started, I'd really appreciate if you all tap that like button and subscribe to my channel. And with that, let's jump right into it. All right, so the 2021 Chevy Tahoe. So one thing that a lot of manufacturers are changing now is how you actually shift your car into gear. So the old Tahoes used to have a column shift right here next to the steering wheel. Some manufacturers are switching to something like a dial. What Chevy decided to do in the Tahoe was actually use a button layout. You just have push buttons for park, neutral, and if you want to go into low gear and kind of control your gears, let's say if you're towing and you're going down a hill. For reverse and drive, you don't have a push button, you just have to pull it out. Kind of like that. I didn't have my foot on the brake, so it won't let me go into drive. So this layout was honestly fairly intuitive. You get used to it fairly quickly. The only thing that I will say that I'm not a fan of is that it doesn't really feel as, tough and rugged as getting into a truck should feel, having either a big column shift or at least a console shift, something of that nature. So we'll just put it in the drive, and we're good to go. So the big news for the 2021 model year in the Tahoe is the move to an independent rear suspension as opposed to a solid rear axle. That allows for a much more comfortable and smooth ride, and honestly, you notice a difference, you really do. For this particular trim, the LT, it is riding on 18-inch wheels as opposed to higher trims which run on 20, 21-inch wheels. So the tire profile is actually a lot bigger. That could also assist with the ride and handling and how it feels on the road. But really, that independent rear helps tremendously. The other thing I want to say, and it's something that I'm very impressed by, is this still feels like a truck. The Tahoes and Suburbans and all these big SUVs have slowly become more luxury-oriented vehicles over the years. Back in the day when they first came out, they were, from the very beginning, essentially a Silverado or a pickup with a permanent cap on the back. And as the years progressed, cars have become more and more luxurious. You almost had a sense that these were becoming more car-like, more crossover-like in a way. I mean, they're all still body on frame, they're all still very big vehicles, but they were putting more of an emphasis on the ride and handling and qualities and being more of a luxury experience. With that being said though, this still drives and feels like a truck. Yes, it's very comfortable, and it probably has a better ride than the new Silverado. I haven't driven the two side by side to really compare. The new Silverado still has that solid rear axle. It's still using leaf spring suspension in the back. I mean, it's still a pickup truck. You still have to be concerned with payload capacity, towing capacity, all that. This is less so concerned with that, but that doesn't mean that it's a slouch in those departments. The other thing you'll notice driving this, especially on the highway, is just how quiet it is in here. It's surprising because it's essentially a brick going through the air, and there's not a whole lot of wind noise or road noise. I know a lot of modern cars have some pretty good sound deadening, but this is surprising. It's a little bit more of an upfront windshield, not as raked as like a Wrangler or a new Bronco or something of that nature, but it's still a very big flat front end. It's a big vehicle, and it keeps the noise away really good, actually. The other thing is that there is a lot of space in here. I mean, I know it's a very big vehicle, but I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'6". I don't even have the seat all the way down, and I still have a good 3-4 inches of headroom. I'm very comfortably spread out in here. This center console is extremely wide, and it's just overall a very comfortable, spacious place to be. Okay, let's see how it does merging onto a highway. All right. Not bad, not bad. So a 5.3 liter V8, 355 horsepower, 383 pound-feet of torque. This is the base engine, if you can call it that. There's an optional 3.0 inline 6 turbo diesel or a 6.2 liter V8, but honestly, this is plenty. This is really all you would need. I mean, yeah, the 6.2 would be a little cooler and it would be a little nicer to have that extra power. I mean, that goes up to 420 horsepower, I believe. So those are some pretty healthy numbers. But I mean, 355, this ain't no slouch. The other thing that you see that's very nice is this center console layout. So you have a nice big screen up top here. It's not sticking up too high to where it looks like it's a tablet glued to the dash. It's fairly well integrated. There's not much space behind there. And then you have hard buttons for pretty much everything else. Up top in this bar right here is all for your radio controls, backtrack, home button, tuning knob, volume knob. And then down below here is just all your climate controls. It's a very simple, symmetrical design, and I think it works really well in this truck. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this has been a POV first drive of the 21 Chevy Tahoe. It's a big, spacious vehicle, still feels like a truck, very comfortable, very quiet. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and consider subscribing for more automotive content. Take care, everyone.